Good morning, everybody. Ian here. Lynn's asked me to be our host for this week's little morning stand-up, so I want to keep it quick so that way we can all get back to work. All right, so first things first. It looks like, Hugh, you wanted to talk about a couple things regarding executables for the arcade machine.
Yeah, all right. So first thing we're going to look at is that we talk about the master students coming in. So every group except for one, and it's going to be up to the master students to choose because there's only 6 of them in 7 groups. Every group but one is going to get a master student coming in to work with you guys. Basically, their role is going to be acting as a process or pipeline consultant. So they'll come in and they'll try and ask you questions that'll lead to figuring out what is your pipeline for producing assets, for producing content, for producing code and engineering. So it's that kind of thing where if you think about if somebody in your team has an idea for a new art asset to go in the game, like you want to put a new hat on the bee in Buzzkill, right? What process do they need to do from coming up with the idea until you actually get it in the game? Like, do they have to fill out a document pitching it, or do they just talk to a lead? If they talk to the lead, who do they have to talk to? Do you have to vote on it? Or does just the lead pick what's going on? And they're just going to try and find out what your process is. Once they find out what your process is, they're going to go out and do research on other game companies in the industry and how they do it. And then they're going to come back to you with a document that says, based on what we know, this is the optimal way for you guys to run your pipeline. Keep in mind that they're working like consultants, not like bosses, right? So they're not going to be able to order you to do something. They can't tell you you have to do it this way. Their job is just to describe to you guys what the best way to do this is. So they're going to provide you with that kind of input. So answer their questions, give them feedback, talk with them a lot to find out what's going on. I'll do email introductions between the team leads and these master students probably this weekend so that they can contact you as they work. But just answer their questions and answer their questions honestly, because again, they're not a boss, they're not grading you, they're not judging you. Their job is just to help you out and come up with the best way for you to do it. It's totally okay if your pipeline is, I don't know, we just kind of do it, right? If that's the answer, then what they'll do is they'll say, well, then how did you do it the last time it happened? Just tell me the steps that happened, right? It's not necessarily that you have a set pipeline, but just tell me how it works. And so their goal is to make your process more efficient, work better. So they're going to be getting in contact with the leads. Make sure you answer their questions, you get back to it, because now it's their grade as well as yours. So they'll hound you a lot more if you aren't getting back to them. But just know they're not your boss. They're a consultant. They're just providing information. So don't worry about it if you disagree with what they come up with. So that's the idea of the master students as consultants. I'm going to be getting that information out probably later today, but it may be tomorrow. I'm sending those kind of emails between them.
And these are game production and management students?
Yes, game production and management students. So they already have bachelor's degrees, right? They already know, they've been through this process, they've made games. Some of these have actual professional experience. They've worked in the industry and now they're coming in. So it's not like they're just coming in with no information. So they're very helpful. The other thing to talk about is Derek is putting all of the games out on the kiosks. And he talked about putting icons on your games. Unity has that kind of built in. These are the settings that we need to have set in order to work well in that kiosk. So first of all, right there at the top, you need to set your company name and product name. That's going to be something that can come up in like about windows, and if people can right click and move to certain things, sometimes that'll have something to do it. So make sure you fill that out. To get to these, your edit menu, project settings, player. And then you'll set the icon to whatever icon you want to have show up. You can use any of your art from your project. So just make a new art piece, import it into the project, and you can select it there. And then down below, the big ones that are important to select, that first button just says for all, it's the settings for PC, Mac, and standalone, so make sure you're doing the PC settings. Make sure that you're defaulting to full screen. We don't want these games to open in a window with things behind them. You want them to go full screen. We want to default to native resolution so that it uses the whole screen and doesn't change the resolution of the monitor when they start. The next two that are on there, you can turn off Mac Retina support. That one comes on by default, but it's just a Mac only thing, so we don't worry about it. Run in background means that if somehow the player like alt tabs or moves to another program, should your game keep running? Or should it pause because they're not playing? If it should pause because they're not playing, leave it unchecked like that. If you check it, your game will keep running if they move off the screen. So if somehow they happen to like Alt-Tab or they hit the Windows key and it brings up another screen, if your game keeps going, right, they may die, they may get frustrated, they may not like that running, so you can decide how you want that. And then the other important one is disable that display resolution dialog. So the 3 options that are on there, it'll default to enabled. That's not what we want because we don't want to see that what screen resolution, windowed, etc. window to come up at the beginning. There's one on there that says hidden by default. That will work, but then they can hold down the Alt key when they start it up, and that will make that window pop up. So we're going to avoid that one, and we're going to go with disabled. So just disable that dialog so that it's forced to be full screen native resolution when they play. And that's it. The rest of those you can look through what they do, but those are the important ones you want to have set up to make it work on the kiosk. So anyone using Unity, that's where all of those settings are. For those of you using Unreal, you still have to submit the icon and look where those other settings are. So.
Perfect. Only me.
Yeah, only you, right?
Good job, Ian.
Awesome.
Way to be different.
That's it.
Perfect. All right.
Ian, you want to take a break and let...
Oh, I was going to say Derek wasn't going to be here to talk about all these events, but instead, here's old Derek.
So I didn't hear everything that Hugh covered. We will be doing over spring break. We're setting those up. So if you can assign somebody today to update your build and get up on that drive, because we want to put them on over spring break. We want to get them loaded up. I'm not sure what the Unity icon does. The other thing that I will provide for you guys, I did some research on it. If you go to just Google and search for Windows 10 icon image sizes, it'll give you 16, 18 different image sizes. The only ones we're concerned with is there's like a standard size for 100% resolution, there's a wide, and there is a large. If you can provide all of those, it gives us flexibility, right? Like let's say one week we want to feature a game, we can make yours bigger and the others smaller, different things like that. So I'll get the link and throw it up into the shell as well. I found it on Wednesday, and actually in that read it will take PNG files. They don't have to be special files. So I'll get you guys that information as well. But yeah. We got it working back in IT, so we're going to blast those machines on during spring break and get your guys' builds up. If you have worked on past projects and would like to see them put on there as well, what we're thinking about doing is actually building groups of like game jam games. Here's games from the fall, here's games from the spring, and actually putting them across the screen like that. So give me that information as well. All right, what am I supposed to talk about?
The Game Jam, which is happening today.
Game Jam! It's today.
Yep.
I believe 6 o'clock when Harrison can get over here. I ran into Harrison last night at Geeks Night Out. He's really, really excited. And one of the things that he's mentioned is we're looking for internship people. And I think he's going to be shopping the Game Jam for internship people. I really do. He didn't come out and 100% say that, but everything he said was like, yeah, man, if they're there and he sees you doing stuff, it could provide you an internship opportunity if you need it. So I would participate. It seems like a good thing to pull out of it, is to get an internship. Yeah, they seem to be doing really well. They had a booth at the Geeks Night Out, and so yeah, 6 o'clock I believe is when he's launching things. I've heard free Red Bull. There's pizza and trophies. So that's all I know about what.
Trophies edible?
I don't believe they're edible trophies, but I think they're actually little trophies. So,
That's a shame.
so yeah, that's exciting. And also keep in mind, this is an externally sponsored alumni studio coming in here and giving their time to help you guys and to participate with you guys. That's really hard to beat as far as networking and just kind of being involved in this industry. For those of you that are saying, oh, but Humans versus Zombies is going on, I would reflect inwardly and figure out which one you think is going to have a bigger impact on your career. And that's all I'll say. If you take an hour off during the middle and go kill a zombie, it's fine. I don't care. But if you don't participate because you'd rather kill zombies, I'll find you when the zombie apocalypse breaks out because I may need your help. But when you're making games,
makes perfect.
yeah. So yeah, like I said, use your judgment. If you want to participate in both, that's fine. But yeah, there's some big opportunities here. Spring break next week. I guess I'm just going down the list. Hopefully you know that by now. As far as grading and the shells are concerned, there's nothing. There's things due this Sunday. I've heard rumors or conversations about like, well, spring break technically starts on Saturday or Friday, or it's like, well, too bad. If you really want to start your spring break on Saturday, get all your work in by Saturday. I'm not changing the due dates. They're Sunday. We're not moving them. That's just a pain. I probably should to be in policy, but I'm not gonna. So everything's still due on Sunday, but keep in mind everything's kind of delayed a week, right? So next week is spring break. That Sunday after spring break, there won't be any hours due. You'll come back. That week we'll run the whole week. Then that next Sunday after that, we'll be back in the rhythm and stuff like that. So keep that in mind. But yeah, this Sunday everything's still due. Spring break hasn't started officially for us. I'd have to look. What does that put the next build date at?
The week after.
So next week after that's GDC, right? Am
Yep.
I getting the calendar right? Which is also our build week. If you are going to GDC, awesome. Definitely participate. If you are a lead and going to GDC, awesome. Definitely participate. We're still doing the build reviews. Game companies don't shut down just because GDC's happening. Most people in the game industry don't go to GDC. A lot do, but there's a lot of people that don't. If you are the one that normally does the build review and comes up and you're going to be gone, congratulations, somebody on your team is going to step up and be delegated to. It's good practice, whether you're the lead or not the lead, to come up and present things. So keep that in mind. Keep in mind also, with spring break and then followed up with GDC, you still have to get the build done. We're still grading the build. It's still everything else to go in the build. So kind of work towards that kind of stuff. My expectation, like I said, you're not required to work over spring break, but use your best judgment. If you're going to be gone for GDC and not get a lot of your hours in, use a couple days in spring break, and then maybe on the Monday, or fix your calendar so you still get your stuff in, and we should be good. Yeah, Lynn?
We have a week in between. Week 9 is when the build review is done on the 16th, and GDC is
Oh, so it's
after
not GDC week.
Yeah.
Oh, it worked out a little better. Cool. Yeah, the dates looked a little odd, but I'm not looking at the calendar. But keep in mind, so that's going to be holes in a couple different builds, in a couple different sprints, so plan accordingly. Greenlight Game Jam. Right now we've got it on the calendar. There's a corporate quip thing that I put it in. I don't see any interference or any conflicts with it. So April 6th is tentatively where we're doing that. We'll hone in on that one after we get through this current game jam. We try not to get a game jam ahead in planning because that's just a lot of work. And keep in mind that is for, you can either work on your game here, work on things for your Greenlight pitch, try a new thing for Greenlight, different things like that. I can't guarantee what we're going to Greenlight for summer. Those of you who've been in the studio for a while know that summer is light. So I don't know for sure what our capacity will be. I usually don't know that until we get pretty close to the Greenlight event, and I can start looking at class rosters and saying, oh, okay, yeah, we got about the same amount of people, so we're fine. Or, holy cow, we're down 40 people. There's going to be a capacity limit sometime. So I won't know that until late, but just kind of keep that in mind. Why do I say things like this? Well, because if you want to stay in or get in, and we have to only use 4, it'll be the best 4 as opposed to the best 7. So there's less slack there. I don't know what this next one is. That's
Smithsonian
okay.
Museum.
Yeah, I've seen that page. So yeah, if you're gonna submit to that, is there a date on the? April 16th. So make sure that if you're gonna do that kind of stuff, this is the kind of stuff that looks great in your portfolio and on your LinkedIn and different things like that. Participating and potentially winning these kind of things. Also get your name out there. So yeah, that's good. Game conference Phoenix Comic Con is coming up. I have paid little attention to Phoenix Comic Con. Not sure. Are they still taking submissions? The booths are closed. I think they might still be taking submissions for speaking. We can check with Tyler on that. GameCom's Eventbrite. Actually, yeah, Eventbrite is what we use to schedule a lot of our stuff. If you can find other video game events, cool. I know that even at Geeks Night Out last night, Wade & Kane was there, which is a game company. There was another company that had a Vive there. We had our Vive there. Didn't get to the two other rows because I was busy, but there was actually a pretty good, local gaming representation even at that event. So, again, it's one of those things where if you can get out and talk to people and network, now when you go and apply for an internship or something like that, it's like, oh yeah, we met at that event, and you have already a leg up. Campus every Thursday. So yeah, if you want to go to the IGDA chapter meetings, that's our local chapter, on campus every Thursday at 7. Hugh or Lynn, do you know Adam was working to get the main IGDA meeting here soon, or did it happen?
I don't know.
I'll find that information out. There is a Phoenix-wide IGDA meeting as well that happens at different places, but they're moving at least one of them here. So I'll try to get that information from Adam and find out. That one tends to be, like ours, the one at 7 tends to be UAT students. Still great. Adam does an amazing job of planning content that is relevant to the time. A few weeks ago he did you're going to GDC, here's what you should know type of thing. So he's always doing kind of content around portfolio times. I think he does portfolio type stuff. He's pretty good about that. The main chapter though, the Phoenix chapter, tends to be valley wide. So you get people who are actually making games to that one, and everybody's welcome. For the most part, I've never gone to an IGDA event where they check your membership. I would encourage you to become a member. It's not horribly expensive. Last time I looked, the student price was like $25 a year, $30 a year, or something like that. The only difference in the student membership and the full membership that I remember is you can't vote for like the board of directors type of stuff, but you get everything else. Full membership even isn't horribly expensive. I think it's like $100 a year or something like that. It's a great organization. If you're not aware of them, come and talk to me about it. I've been an IGD member, I can't say off and on, I'll say off and on, that's probably the most accurate, since 99, 98, something like that. So it's a great organization. Get involved with them. All right, I think that covers everything except for what Lynn's waving at me for.
Also, you want to keep April 2nd through the 5th on your calendar. That's the career fair. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so you probably have seen career fairs. They're definitely running another one. We're working on getting some more game companies, local game companies and different things like that. Trying to get some companies from out of state to make it over. That's a bit more of a challenge. It's pretty easy for a company to commit to a local fair and be like, oh yeah, I can just drive down the street, it's fine. It's different to have to take somebody out for 3 or 4 days and fly them across the country and different things like that. But I am working on a few companies. I don't want to say anything because I don't want to commit to stuff that may or may not happen. But yeah, we're working on getting some more game companies there. Even if there's not game companies, it's still good practice, right? It's good practice to talk to people who regularly hire people. They're here because they want to hire and they want to help. So, just walking around and having the conversations, in a weird way, if it's even for a job that you're not even necessarily all that excited about or don't want to get, it takes a lot of the pressure off and you can just kind of practice and get better at it. It's a skill set like everything else. Interviewing is a skill set, talking to people is a skill set. So I would encourage you to participate even if my favorite company's not here. It's less about that. It's more about just getting out there and getting that confidence, right? It's easier to get confidence on something that you're not nervous about, oh man, this is my dream job, I don't want to screw it up. That adds more pressure to it. So it's a good opportunity. And like I said, as I hear of game companies that are going to be here, I will let you guys know. Seems like there was something else I wanted to say, but now I can't remember what it was. Oh, I'm going to go back to the first point then. So somebody on your team should be fixing the build to meet the requirements. I'm not sure what Hugh said, but I'm going to reiterate what I care about. The making it start up in full screen, making it start up without the box. Definitely heard that part. There should be an easy and or communicated way to exit the game. Because you're releasing this out of your direct control. Somebody can just walk up and play your game, right? Now that can be something like on your menu system, just press escape to exit, you know, and if that already works, that's fine. It might be add a UI element in the corner that just says exit. It's a pretty easy little change, but make sure that is communicated. Some of the feedback that you will get off of this is, I didn't know how to do this, I didn't know how to do that, because you are now, again, you're getting it out of your control into somebody just doing it on their own without you there to help them. So make sure that they can exit the game. I am going to need a volunteer. We have the opportunity also to build a 1920 by 1080 background desktop image that represents the studio that's going to go behind all this. So if anybody's interested in building something like that, come to me and we will figure out what we want to do. I haven't decided yet. If not, we'll make George do it. He's not here, so we'll assign him that task. So I'm going to need that, and then, like I said, I'll put the link up into this page that has the, you know, the icon, different sizes that you're going to want to make. It's actually really cool. If anybody's interested in this kind of stuff, it's really something that if you're going to develop games for Windows 10 is now the standard operating system. These tiles that I'm making you make in our custom menu are the exact same things that would go in the start menu on Windows 10. And if you've played with that any at all, you know you can change their sizes and stuff like that. The page that I found is a complete guide in if you're doing this and this percentage of it this is where they put the title automatically, and here's what you want, and here's what kind of spacing you want. It's a really, really good guide. I'll put that link up in here so you guys have it. I think I'm free now. Any questions? That was just a lot of rambling.
See, that was easy, wasn't it?
Not
To get
me.
you a cardboard.
Good job,
Yeah,
Ian.
basically.
You're awesome at
All
this.
right, give him a hand. Thank you, Ian. You want to release him there? All right, turn it. Thank the online people.
If you're the one doing the builds, come and talk to you and I if you have any trouble.
So, thanks everyone on ground and online for attending this little meeting. We're going to close it here so that way everyone can get back to work.
All right, go big games.